But thank you now for helping my voice get through. We are very pleased. I'm honored to actually be opening this session. This is the What's New session, where we are going to present and share what are the new features that are included in 42 for the core DHIS2, and then also in the Android app 3.2 versions. And I might be coughing a little bit. So we do have a lot of improvements. These are just a few highlights that I want to share with you, just to keep your attention all through the session. You are going to see that we have a new DHIS2 app menu served by a new global app shell that is a shared container for all web applications. We are also going to hear about configuration of data sets entry forms, both in web and Android. You are going to see that we are more and more working towards integrating web and Android user experiences. You are going to see that today as well. A beautiful, fantastic program indicators disaggregation functionality that I'm not going to say much now, but it's going to really make our lives easier for aggregating data from individual level to aggregate data values. We also have external dashboards and the capacity to add plugins to your DHIS2 dashboard, all integrated in your DHIS2 dashboards app. We will also talk about a unified rule engine. This deserves an applause, but not now, later, when they really talk about it. Because now is when you really will have the same experience and configuration across Android and web, and we have the same engine running behind. And we will introduce the new shining climate and health services, which I think is the first time we actually introduce them like this. And in the opening session, we are very excited to share that. So I guess you can imagine the amount of hours and work that are behind. These are only 6 highlights. It's a huge team of developers, implementers, and product managers behind this. We can't have them here all together, but of course, I'm not going to present this alone. I'm Marta Vila. I didn't introduce myself. I'm leading the product team. And today we are going to be 7 people. I said 6 before. This is actually 7. So Marcus, the engineering lead, they are here. They will introduce themselves, but it's going to be Marcus, then Caroline, Nancy, and David as product managers. We will have Austin as well presenting Extend, engineering manager for extensibility. I don't think I need to introduce Kristin, but she will join us later to talk about the climate solutions, climate and health. The plan for the session, this is a bit different from other years. Normally, we do present per product. It's not that different, but a little bit. We are grouping things now per product area, feature area. So we are going to start with platform. Marcus will talk about platform. In platform, we are compiling everything that is actually serving the whole infrastructure, either affecting all of the HIS2 users or building foundation for it in the parts that we don't really see on the screen. We will then proceed to configure, where David will walk us through the features or functionalities that are the ones that normally a system admin will use. So this is a special type of user. This is your admin user, or this is you, actually, most of the times. And then we will walk towards the end user. So we will talk about collect. All functionalities that relate to data collection will be presented there by Nancy and Caroline, and they will cover both Android and web, specifying, of course, the differences and similarities. And then we will proceed to analyze, where we will talk about all the analytics apps, all the analytics functionalities. That will be Caroline. And then we will end with extend. So that will be Austin, and that is where we, again, change a bit the type of user. It's more oriented toward extending the platform and building things on top of it. So Austin will tell us more about how that has been improving. And we will close with climate and health solutions. And that's where Kristin will join us for showing the new solutions. Once we are done, it's not here in the agenda, but between this session and the group photo, so don't run, we have to take the group photo, we will have the app competition. If you remember, every year we have an app competition. So today, Austin will show us the candidates so that you can vote all through the week. And that will be all from us. And I think I'm going to leave it here and welcome Marcus on the stage to tell us about the platform features. Thank you.
Turn green and you can hear me. Yeah. Great. Thanks, Marta. When I hear this word, I get one picture in my head, and that's of a vast concrete floor. It's plain. It doesn't carry too much value by itself, but you can build really nice things on it. You can build houses on it, or skate parks, or whatever you need to actually achieve. It is a plateau that protects us from the uneven and moist ground, and it's a good starting point. And in this room, I think you will appreciate this first part, the platform part, because many of you are building your own skate parks and houses and depending on this platform, and we are really proud of it. And this year, our world has been shaken in a way that I would not have been able to imagine 1 year ago when we met here. And we are extra proud, in a way, to present these enhancement and the care we provide for our platform. We are going to stick around and be the bedrock for you through these tough times and into the future. The first feature or part of the solution I'm going to talk about is the rule engine, and this one we have been working towards for many release cycles. We have now closed the loop in 42, and we now have the same rule engine code running on the back end, on the front end capture app on web, and the Android app. It's the same one. And this is of course good because we can just maintain one code base. But even better, you will no longer have to worry about whether something will work on Android, work on web, whether it will be different. And we hope that the days of this only supported on Android are over, or this is only supported on web are over. Thanks. Okay. I really hope that this sticks, but yeah. We also have some new great opportunities to build cross-platform code that will be working the same on all these different platforms and places. So we're really excited about this one. The next really big feature, this one you will see again later, but I'm going to mention it briefly here in the beginning, because we are now serving the shell of the app from the DHIS2 core. That means that the developers will no longer build their own version of the header bar and the sort of navigation menu and so on into their apps and ship it when they when the developers and external developers as well as internal build apps for the DHIS2 platform. So it will all be consistent. It will all work the same, and we can roll out features to this to the whole shell in one by changing code in one place, and it will be consistent. We have done some updates now that we are able to make sure it works the same across all apps, and you will see the mostly visual updates to the header bar. It's a little bit sleeker, a little bit nicer. We have also rolled out a new app menu, extendable app menu with shortcuts, which Austin is going to show us later, which is something we are really proud of. And we can now build functionality that works the same across all apps, across the whole platform. In the things that we are going to do later is, for example, a universal session expiry. So we have a better cross-platform experience when sessions times out, as one example. Do come to the What's Next session on Friday. We're going to talk a lot about more of these opportunities that the new app shell will provide. A few other, we know that we bug you guys to upgrade. We keep saying this: do upgrade. It's more secure. It's faster. Come on. And we know that it's a little bit of a heckle. You sometimes have to change your code even, and recode your apps or do changes. We just want to say we are also under the same pressure. For example, now we have upgraded the Spring main version, and we have changed. This is a bit of a nuisance to us as well, so we feel this pain as well, just so you know. But it does provide a more secure platform. It provides better security by default. It's faster, and it opens up a lot of new possible security features, like a modern token-based authentication that we will also get more into later. We have built we think we now have a complete support for ID schemes in the tracker endpoints. You can now use your own IDs, which we think is really going to be really good if you have an external system to integrate with for your data management and for your scripting. So this is also a good thing to mention. Then my last slide is maybe the most important one. And if we go and ask any stakeholder that uses DHIS what's most important to you, we 8 out of 10 times get an answer that is well encapsulated into the heading of this slide. You really care about stability and quality and fixing bugs. Kalle did also care about fixing bugs and shouted at us for old bugs. And although we still have 20 bugs from Kalle in here, the number is steadily declining. We are keeping our eyes on fixing our backlog. We are keeping our eyes on making the most impactful fixes first. We have made new mechanisms to figure out and go out and research what is the most important things we can do for you guys. What will have the biggest impact. We have really pride in investing in our foundations and making sure that this DHIS2 is stable and performant. And we reduce our code entropy. We make sure that our product is better and better from the very bottom. Sometimes we have to make changes that you will see in the upgrade steps as things you have to do or care about. We might change the API to make it more consistent, more consistently work across the whole platform. So do have a look at the upgrade notes. I'm going to mention this just one more time. Do that. See if there is anything relevant when you upgrade. And we are sorry for the times we have to put steps in there that requires you to do something on a manually on a main version upgrade. But this is a trade-off that we hope you appreciate. We are only doing this when it will provide better stability and more maintainable and faster code. That's the only time we do it, we promise. We promise also to pay you back with a more stable platform and less bugs. Thank you very much.
There you go. Good morning, my name is David Kennedy, Product Manager at DHIS2, and I'm here to talk to you about some more of the behind the scenes parts of DHIS2, the configuration. So we're going to start off with how you get into DHIS2. This is the very important security feature we've added. We've had two-factor authentication for a while through the app, and now we've added the ability to have codes sent to an email so that you can use two-factor authentication via email. This was strongly requested from the community. We've been looking for this for a while, so we're very happy to offer this now in 42. As a bonus feature, we've also added the ability to enforce unique email addresses. Before previously, you could have multiple email addresses on an account, use the same email address on multiple accounts. And now the admins have the option of enforcing unique email addresses for every single account. So that's a nice byproduct of having the two-factor authentication. We're trying a new way of doing demos. Instead of doing live demos, we're doing videos. So bear with me, we'll see what past me had to demonstrate this, but we're just showing the login procedure as normal. This user doesn't have two-factor authentication switched on, but simply going to their user profile, clicking verify email to make sure that that email is valid, coming back. There'll be a screen that you need to click. Obviously, if you're using the same screen, you can just click a link. That email is now verified, and then the user can go and choose to enable their email verification. Sometimes a refresh is necessary. This will send a 6-digit code. Everyone's quite familiar with this procedure. Paste the code in, and then the email authentication is turned on. I think the last part of this demo is just logging out, coming back to the screen, and you'll see that now this user has a prompt to add the authentication code. So it takes just a few seconds for each user to set it up, and we've got this new, more secure way of logging in. And next. All right. Next thing I want to talk to you about is the new maintenance app. This has been released over a couple of, we introduced this last release, but now in 42, we've got more and more features. It's a very big app. There's a lot of parts to it. So it's going to take us a little while to catch up. But in this version 42, we've got a lot of new areas added, new categories. Most of the aggregate data configuration is there. There's just data sets we're just finishing off in the next little while. And then all of the aggregate data information will be there. The important thing is this app is on continuous release. So even though we're announcing this as part of the version 42 release, during the year, we will be releasing new functionality. More of these sidebar elements will become enabled, and you'll be able to do more and more things with it. We're not just copying the old app to the new app. We are adding some new important functionality based on user requests. And one of those is the merge feature. So now you can take metadata elements that may be semantically the same, but have been entered in with slightly different names. Or if you're combining systems or importing metadata, sometimes you end up with duplicates. So a way of deduplicating that data is to merge it all together. And we can now do that through the user interface. So in this example, we're going to have a look at a category option. So you might have two category options that look the same. In this case, it's under 5 age group. So someone's put in, U5Y, another one, someone's put in under 5. We want to put those together. You select them both, click merge, select which one you want to keep and which one you want to remove. And this will not just delete the duplicate, but take all of the references from the metadata that you've decided to remove and move it over to the new one. So you don't lose any connections, everything's automatically updated. We've added a typing confirmation because this is a very, very critical function that if you get it a bit wrong, you can make some big mistakes. So it's something that you need to make sure you know what you're doing, but now you can quickly clean up those duplicates and go through. Still on the maintenance app. Clean metadata is always important. This is the big new feature I'm very, very happy to announce. Program indicator disaggregations. So some people will know exactly what this means and be very excited about it. Other people maybe will have to follow along a little bit. But program indicator disaggregations is an important step about combining your tracker data with your aggregate data. So you've got individually collected data in a lot of places, and you need to sometimes put that into the aggregate model. The way you would do this previously is have a lot of program indicators, one for each disaggregation category. So you could have hundreds of program indicators, which would become quite difficult to manage. This new feature, you can have one program indicator, map a category combination to that program indicator, and map the relationship between the individual data and each of those category options, and then apply that same mapping to multiple program indicators. And that will automatically disaggregate the information. So we've got a quick demo for this. Yes, very exciting. So this isn't part of only the new maintenance app, so you'll only be able to do this from version 42 on. So if you find the program disaggregation section in the new maintenance app, select the program that you want to map. This brings up the screen where you can see the program indicators, the disaggregation categories. You can also map attribute categories and disaggregate by them as well. So we're going to go through in this example, we're going to choose BMI. It's a program indicator. And you can see that gives you the option of choosing disaggregation category combinations. We'll go ahead and select a disaggregation category combination for gender and the under 5 age group. And this app automatically brings up the 2 categories associated with that category combination down the bottom. And we can say that we're going to add the mapping for each of those categories. So in this case, we're going to use the same syntax as in the filter of a program indicator, so that you can, we recommend at the moment that you use the program indicator filter section, which has a more interactive expression builder, and then copy or paste it in here. So you put the equations in there, add the mappings for each of the category options, and then once that's saved, you only need to do the mapping for each category once, and then that's applied. So we'll cut and paste that in. We don't have the full expression builder, but what we do have is some validation on these fields. So if you do put in the wrong expression, it will tell you that, and you can say, I've got the equals on the wrong section, and have a little bit of help getting it right. Maybe it takes a couple of tries. Once that mapping's saved, that's all done. You can do multiple mappings. There's a lot of things you can do with this. There's a lot of extra ways you can expand it. I won't go into all of that detail now. There is a session on program indicator disaggregations Thursday at 11 o'clock with Jim. So I recommend everyone who's more interested in this to go along to that. And we'll just show the results, a couple of results. Once we've done that mapping, you can see that previously you would have multiple program indicators for each of those disaggregation categories, and then you'd render the data in the data visualizer. Now you can get rid of all of those program indicators, add just the one that we've done the mapping for, that base BMI program indicator, and now use the disaggregations on the side, like with aggregate data, add the categories, and it automatically disaggregates. So that's the end result. We're just starting to use this, where there's an example. I'm sure Jim's going to go into more detail, but the Ghana instance had 394 program indicators, and they're now, sorry, 594, sorry. Thought that sounded too much. Nearly 600 program indicators. Using this, they're now able to get that down to 27. So that's a massive difference in overhead. But it's not just the data visualizer. It's the last step I'll do. You can also add one data element. So sometimes you want to get the data from the tracker model into the aggregate model. So you can add one data element ID in that configuration, and then using the aggregate data exchange app, by mapping just that one program indicator to a data element that shares the same category combination, you just can run this import but for any org unit and period that you want, and it will transfer that data across, so that data is now in the aggregate model, and you can use it with other aggregate data that's there. A very, very powerful feature. Again, I recommend Thursday morning getting to Jim's session to learn more about that. And the last thing I'll end on is the web app Android sync troubleshooting. This is a new app that we've added to help admin users find out what's going wrong when there's sync issues, both with Android and web. This list gives you a bunch of errors. You can sort it, you can filter it, you can search, so you can find out which user's having the problem, where it was, are they a web user, are they an Android user. You get a lot more information here so that the admins can narrow down what's going wrong with the sync and help track it down and solve the synchronization problem. So again, for people that have this problem, it's a very big deal. For everyone else, that the admins are busy working to make their data sync perfectly. Maybe you won't notice this, but this will help a lot of headaches. So thank you very much. I'd like to hand over to Nancy.
Hello, can you hear me? Yes, perfect. My name is Nancy Espinosa, and Carolina and I will be walking you through the different improvements in the DHIS2 Collect, web and Android, for both aggregate and individual data. So let's start with the aggregate data. We have, now you can configure a numeric value type as a fraction of the days after submission, which means that you can add 0.5, and this is especially useful if you have a system where deadlines are tighter than a 24 hours period. So even though you think this is a smaller change, this is what we called a Kala feature, which is small change but with a big impact. So as you may know, since 41, we have been adding major improvements in the custom options for the forms in the data entry. So now for 42 and 3.2, we are able to add titles and subtitles for more clarity. You can place also instructional content before and after a section. You can do some pivoting, which includes you can transpose a full table, or you can choose a category, a specific category, and move it to a row. You can also choose between vertical and horizontal tabs, or disable grouping, which keeps the defined order of the data element, even though they share the same category combination. So I'm going to show you. This is a summary of the different versions and the different features that we have for the farm configurations. As you can see, for the Android app, everything is new in 3.2, supported in 3.2. But for the web data entry, it depends on the feature that you need. Disable grouping, it's available since 39. Then in 41, we have the transpo rows and the content before and after. And finally, in 42, we have the custom titles and subtitles and the render sections of steps. So I'm going to show you with this example, this is how data entry look, and this is how the Android app looks. And I'm going to show you how to configure the different options for customization. First, we have the custom title and subtitle. For that, you're going to the maintenance app, open the dataset, scroll down a bit, and then you'll find the add custom title and subtitle. As you can see, you have line start, center, and line end, which is the text alignment. And then after you choose the one that you need, I'm going to use the line start in my example, then you add the title, and then you add the subtitle as you need them. Once you feel comfortable with what you have, then scroll down and save the changes. And this is the way it looks. As you see, they are both at the top before the content in the table, and you have the title and then the subtitle. For the content before and after, instead of going directly to the data set, you go to the manage sections, because this is done by section. In my example, I'm going to be using the immunization. So I open that, scroll down until you find the content before and after section. As you can see there, we have there's a possibility to use HTML links and basic styling like bold or highlight, and there's my example. And as you can see, I started with some highlight, then with the link, and finally I ended up with the bold. And once you feel ready, then you saved it. And this is what you get for both data entry and the Android app. For the transpose, you go again to the specific section. You go to manage sections in the maintenance app. You select the section that you need. You scroll down and you'll find pivot options. You have 3 options: default, the pivot, which is the full transpose of the table, and then you have move a category to row, which in my example, I'm going to be using that with the location fixed and outreach. Then once you're ready, you saved it. And as you can see, we have moved one of the categories to a row that is called the location fixed and outreach, and left the nutrition age in the columns. And finally, the vertical and horizontal tabs. In this case, this applies to the whole data set. So you go in a maintenance app, you go to the data set, and then scroll down a bit until you find the feature called render section and tabs, and you can choose between horizontal or vertical. Horizontal is the default behavior of the Android app. And the vertical, as you will see in a moment, is something that you can now use in the Android app. And horizontal and vertical both work for the data entry in the web. So this is the way that it applies in data entry. And then in the Android app, to be able to see this type of layout, you need a bigger size screen, for example, a tablet. And then you need to rotate it and use it in landscape mode to be able to see the sections, vertical sections. Now let's move to individual level data. starting with quick actions. The quick actions, the purpose of this feature is to make some of the workflows faster. The workflows that you can do is mark for follow-up, transfer, complete or cancel enrollments, or go to more enrollments. This means that we will be adding some chips in the track entity instance dashboard that you can access quicker than if you go to the three-dot menu, or if there's another option that you need to go to. So I'm going to show you quickly how you configure this. This is fully configurable in the Android settings web app, and by default, you won't have any of these chips in the track entity instance dashboard. So you go to Appearance, Program, and this is in a specific setting. You can add a program specifically. In my case, I'm going to edit the one that I have. By default, this is unselected, and as you can see, this is available from 3.2 and on. So the order of the chips that are going to appear in the track entity instance dashboard, it's the order that is in here, starting for mark for follow-up and finishing up with the more enrollments. In my example, I'm going to be using all of them. So I mark them, save them, and then save the whole configuration in the Android settings web app. If we move to the right side of the screen, you'll see the mobile device. You open any track entity instance, and you'll see the chips are there in the track entity instance dashboard. And you can be tapping in each of them. The mark for follow-up will open a bar, and then if you need to remove it, then you can remove it and the chip comes back. For the transfer one, that will appear only if you have a org unit different in the search, different from the capture ones. Then you can either complete, you can cancel the enrollment, or you can go to more enrollments to see all the different enrollments that track entity instance has. Then from now on, I'm going to be talking about some other improvements that they are not in 3.2, or let's say they are from 3.1, not new in 3.2. One of them is the navigation bar and the menus. As you can see, we have a more modern look. That's the idea, but not only that, it has bigger icons and bigger font size to make it more readable. Then we also have the responsive home screen, which the app will now adapt to the quantity of programs that the user has access to. This is up to 4 programs, and then if you have more than 4, then it will look like the list that we had before. We also have the relationship section, which now has been improved in a way that you'll see the list of related of all the relationship types available for the user. Instead of having the plus icon and then select, the idea is to make the workflow a bit faster. And once you have the list there, you tap on the plus icon, and then you select the track entity instead that you are trying to relate to. And there's also a redesign of the cards, and the idea is to align to the other cards that we have on the app. For the schedule new events, either if you're scheduling a new event or if you already have a scheduled event, we have new dialogues to make it easier either to reschedule, cancel, or enter the form. And finally, we have added the location accuracy. When you are capturing coordinates, this is in real time, and it's located at the bottom of the bar. And the admin user is able to disable the manual capture or set a minimum accuracy range for the user to capture the coordinate. And also, when capturing coordinates, the user now has the possibility to access a search. They can either search for a specific location, or after searching a specific location, they can move around the map and search for a specific area. So for the rest on the capture improvements, I'll hand over to Caroline. So thank you for your attention.
You, Nancy, you can hear me? All right. Yeah, I get the pleasure of presenting some of the improvements in the web capture app. So let's get started with one feature that I think will be quite impactful. It's bulk operations on enrollments and events. So let's do a little video on that. So I'm starting on the front page list in the capture app. You see we've added some checkboxes next to the list. And so you could either decide to select all, or you can decide to select just a couple. So I'm choosing a couple, and you can see up here that it said 2 selected, and you can decide to either complete enrollments or delete enrollments. So let's try to complete enrollments. You get a dialog that tells you how many that you are about to complete. You can also decide to mark the active events within the enrollment complete at the same time, or not. So that's a checkbox. That's totally voluntary. So then I've completed 2 of the enrollments. Let's also look at the other action, which is delete enrollments. So here, even though you can filter in the working list itself, we are also giving you the option here to decide if you only want to delete active, completed, or canceled enrollments. So there, we deleted that enrollment. So this functionality is also available for events in event programs and events within program stage working lists. So same complete and delete for now at least. So now I just want to take you through a few quick UX improvements in the Capture app to kind of show how, as more and more people are moving over from Capture to Capture, from Tracker Capture, we are continuously kind of iterating and making small improvements based on user feedback. So for example, we added a launch page, so you're not just met with a blank page. It's a nice little onboarding for users who are new to the app. We also have linked to the docs as well, and it's a similar view as a lot of the other apps. We also saw that we wanted to facilitate the navigation more in the app. That was one of the user feedbacks. So we added this breadcrumb bar. So basically, it both situates you in the app, and you're able to, all of the links are actionable, so you can click back from the front page list to throughout the enrollment and events. So, and if you have a working list with a name, that will be instead of the person list there. So again, you really know where you kind of came from throughout that. We also wanted to add organization unit contextualization. We know that there are a lot of organization unit with similar names. Maybe you have, a huge 40,000 organization unit tree, and you have access to a lot of them. You want to know where in the hierarchy it is. So any form or widget or working list where you have kind of entered the organization unit, you can hover and see the whole org unit hierarchy for that org unit. We also saw that, so in Capture app, the top kind of context selector is a really great way to get a snapshot of where you are with the program and organization unit, tracked entity, etc. But we saw that users it wasn't very intuitive to change the org unit of the event, for example, in that context selector. So we decided to just put the organization unit selector in the form as well to just make it much more intuitive for the users. The Capture app is one of the apps that also utilizes the new calendar component, which Austin will talk more about later. So again, you can enter or pick the date from the selector. There's month and year dropdowns, and as you can see, it also works for several non-Gregorian calendars. Then we have the changelog, which came into the Capture app from 41. We made some more improvements in 42. So for both the tracked entity and the event changelog, you can now sort by date, by user, or by data item, and you can also filter by data item if you only want to see changes to a specific data element or attribute, for example. And in the event changelog specifically, we've also added that you can see changes to the report date, the schedule date, and the geometry of the event. In the Capture app, some of you might also be aware that we've expanded a bit on what you would say is the referral use case in a way that you can now link events between 2 program stages. Same program, not different program yet. We always get that question. So, for example, the lab request and the lab result stage can be linked together. And we've been iterating on this. So, for example, now you have a kind of a 2-event workspace where you see both events that are linked in one page. Also, the widget where you link these events are available in the registration page, in the view event, etc. And you can also unlink these events. And then another thing that we think will really help task management and follow-up is that you can enable user assignment for a program stage. And now you can also filter by these assigned users in the program stage working list. All right, so I'm going to jump straight over to Analyze and talk about the things there. Let's start with the dashboard app. So one of the things we've done here is that we've updated the design a bit and improved the user experience in general. One of the things you see is with the dashboard bar is it's kind of a single line and it's fixed. So even if you're scrolling down, you still know which dashboard you're on. You can still click filter or edit. You don't have to scroll back up. We've also moved the dashboards in kind of a drop-down list to the left, providing a bit of an easier way to search for the dashboards. And we've kind of updated the grid a bit, again, just to really make use of all the screen space to show the important data. Another exciting thing is that we've added a dashboard slideshow or full screen. So you have a slideshow button in the dashboard app, and you can use either the arrows on the navigation bar or the keyboard arrow keys to move back and forth. Any filters that are applied will be displayed in the navigation bar. And again, often the first comment we get here, can we have autoplay? A little bit of sneak peek, we're working on that, so that will be also around soon. Also, very exciting to announce that we're now supporting displaying external dashboard types through the dashboard app. So you can add external dashboards, and they will sort of look the same and be displayed next to the other standard DHIS2 dashboards. So the first one we are doing is and supporting is Superset, using a connector contributed by BAO Systems. And in the future, we are thinking of expanding this to other potential types. So it would be very interesting to hear from you what other kind of tools you would want to see in the dashboard app to continue to strengthen DHIS2 as a central point for a variety of data sources and dashboards. Let's now move over to the data visualizer app and option set counts. So I will again show a demo. So you'll see in the data item selector that any event data item with an option set have gotten this icon next to it. So you can click there to choose the options. You can still also decide to move the whole event data item. But if you click there, which past me took a lot longer to get to, you get to see all the options that are available. And you can decide to select just a few like you do with other data items. So one thing to note is that, option sets have aggregation type none when it's the kind of the text value type. So you have to actually go in and override it with an aggregation type. So I'm doing count. So now you see that the options selected in March 2025 for community health workers and radio and school are these numbers. And this is a really great, again, David also showed some program indicator improvements, but this is also a great way to not have to make so many program indicators, or if you don't have access to make program indicators. So I'm just showing these pre-configured program indicators for the same options, just to show that the numbers are the same. So again, good way to not have to make so many. I believe, yes. Then another improvements within the data visualizer is that we've added this data definitions. We've added this this little I button, and you can also see what kind of data type it is. So if you click this this I button, you will get to see a lot of things that are relevant for that specific data type. So this will vary per data type. So for example, for indicators, this is a great way to remind yourself or get familiarized with what is actually the numerator expression or the denominator expression, and any other things that you might be interested in. And then you could even decide to kind of drill down into those data, not drill down from this, but you can search for it again and then, go into the data element and learn more. So this is a really nice way for users to get to know their data. And again, if they don't have access to maintenance or don't want to go into maintenance, to see how this was configured. So again, here you see there's different things for data elements, including category combos that you can drill down on, etc. So hope this will also be a very valuable way of the users just knowing what data they're looking at and using that for data use. And then I'm going to move on to the next analytics app and last one for now, which is a few of the maps improvements. So one of the things we've done is we're really trying to align the maps app with the other analytics apps in the way that we're using components and getting the users familiar with how that looks. And so one of the things we've done is we've added the same period component into maps. So now you can use a combination of fixed and relative periods. You can choose multiple periods. The start and end date uses the calendar component. And we've also improved a bit this kind of period display mode. You can see with the icons. And also this will give you a bit more guidance on what you should choose. Like if it's disabled, it'll tell you, oh, you need to only choose one period, you need to choose more than one period, etc. So we hope that will also help user experience. Some other just functional and general UX requirements, you can now choose a combination of org unit groups, org unit levels, and the user org unit. This is actually in all the analytics apps. And you can show calculations in the Maps app. You still have to create them through the data visualizer, but if you created it, you can show them here. We also have added support for enrollment location. It's currently in the event layer. So basically, you map the events and the associated information when you, for example, click a point, but you utilize the coordinate that was captured during enrollment. This is me. And the last one is the maps, the kind of layer catalog. So basically, we were adding a lot of more Earth Engine layers and data, and maybe not all of it is relevant for your implementation. So you're able to just kind of check or uncheck and decide like what layers your user should have access to. All right, it's time for Austin.
You should be able to hear me. Yes, great. Hi, everyone. We're a little bit behind, so I'm going to try to move a little bit quickly, but not too quickly, through the very exciting new features that we have related to extending DHIS2. So I'm very excited to present this for the first time as kind of its own category as well. It's something that's been underlying a lot of the work that's gone into DHIS2 and DHIS2 being a platform that needs to be adapted and customized and configured and extended to be useful in local contexts for a very long time. But we have a real strategic focus on making sure that we build the fundamentals and the tools that people need to be able to do that. So I'll be showing here a bit of the tip of the iceberg in that famous diagram, where this is what the user sees when they're interacting with DHIS2 and the features that everyone will be able to experience in DHIS2. But there's a lot of other work that goes on in building the developer tools, in building the documentation for developers and people to build extensions, the community of developers that are out there that we engage with. And we're building some reference implementations, for example, for things like org unit sync. And I encourage you to join our developer meetups if you're interested in learning more about that, as well as there's a session tomorrow called, I believe it's Fantastic Developer Tools and Where to Find Them. So just to start off, pointing out a few extension points that we have in DHIS2. You've been able to add dashboard plugins for a long time, but we've updated the mechanism that goes into how you build those, added the ability to develop dashboard plugins in the app platform, as well as to build apps that have plugins with them. So previously you had to build a plugin and separately build an app, and then you had to make sure that the versions were in sync and that they knew how to talk to each other. Now an app or an extension that you install in the DHIS2 can have both an application and a plugin. And this is just one of many extension points that we have in DHIS2. We've also added recently 2 and soon 3 extension points in the Capture app to be able to expand the ability to enter data as well, and there'll be more coming soon that I'll talk about. Carolina mentioned the calendar component. So this is a generically available component that's very easy to use, but under the hood, it uses a lot of new native browser technology to support multiple calendars, particularly Ethiopian and Nepali calendars, but others as well. Supports right to left, and also just for the majority of people that are using this for Gregorian date input, it also has an easier way to select dates so hopefully should improve the experience for entering dates even if you're in the Gregorian calendar. And that's available to all applications and also is already being used in the Capture app, as Carolina mentioned. This one's a little bit under the hood, but we have a route API, which is a very powerful way to utilize DHIS2 for authentication and authorization in order to talk to other services that might be running in your infrastructure, to be able to secure access to other things that you're using that are server-side extensions. And we've added several new authentication schemes or authorization schemes to the Routes API so that it can talk to different types of backend services. For a long time, we've had basic authentication and DHIS2 API tokens to talk to other DHIS2 instances, and we've now added custom headers as well as query parameters, backported those also to versions 40 and 41. And pretty exciting, in 42, we have the ability to do OAuth 2 client authentication with those backend services, which is something that is very often set up for services in government infrastructures, for example. In addition, we've created an application that's available on the App Hub. So this is not bundled in DHIS2 42, but you can go to the App Management app and find this by searching on the App Hub for Route Manager. And this is just an interface for managing the routes that you have configured in your system. It's been an API-only feature for a little while, but this also shows the power of being able to quickly create new custom apps. We built this in a few months and released that on the App Hub so that everybody can use it. If you're using version 40, version 41, you also have Routes API available there. You can also download this app and install it and use it there. We also have a new app that is bundled in 42 for managing the data store, which is a flexible key value store that's available to applications that are installed into DHIS2. And we've had an application to visualize the data that's in the data store for a while, but it got very outdated and needed a lot of updates. So we've added a new application that really updates the look and feel and makes it easy to manage that information. It also now supports not only the global data store, which is shared between all the users in the DHIS2 instance, but also the user data store, which is specific to an individual user. And it supports sharing, which is an important feature within the data store to be able to take a specific key and share it with only certain users or user groups within the system, which is very important for security when you're building an application and you want only certain users to be able to edit the configuration of that application, but all users to be able to read it. This is also very exciting, and there's a session specifically on this later this afternoon. I encourage you all to join my colleague Johan, who will be presenting that. This is also available on the App Hub, so you can go to the App Management app, search for Fire IG Generator app, and install this into your system. Most of you probably are familiar with Fire, and DHIS2 itself doesn't have a Fire API natively available, but your configuration or your metadata in DHIS2 is very useful when you're talking to other systems. So what this IG generator app does is it allows you to export the metadata for a particular tracker program in your DHIS2 instance and create a FHIR implementation guide that you can then use to expose or share that information with other systems that you might want to talk to. This is the beginning of a kind of a FHIR roadmap that we have around making it easier and easier to interoperate with other systems in a complex architecture. Additionally, on the App Hub, I mentioned the App Hub a few times, we've added a few very useful new features, including being able to include change logs or what has changed with a new version of a particular application. So as more and more applications are on the App Hub, even core apps have new versions all the time. It becomes useful to be able to see what has actually changed between the version that I have installed and the version that is newly available. So you can see all of that now, and there's a mechanism to automatically pull that from the GitHub repository for developers to make it easy as well. And then Marcus mentioned the global app shell. This is a really exciting kind of culmination of many years of work. But what this does is gives finally DHIS2 instance a single global interface to be able to interact with it. So instead of every app taking over the entire screen and showing different header bars and different ways to navigate through the system, you have one way when you use the global app shell in your application or in your DHIS2 instance. You have one interface, one header bar, one apps menu that is always available no matter where you are in DHIS2. You can access the navigation through the keyboard and navigate through the keyboard as well. And this also means that developers don't need to worry about this in their own applications. So it will be automatically available and standardized, and developers don't need to worry about it. So that also opens up some new opportunities for different technologies to be used in applications as well. And a part of that global app shell is a new apps menu, which Marcus also mentioned. This is a revamped version of the apps menu that we've had for a long time. It, as I mentioned, is fully keyboard navigation compatible, so you can navigate exclusively with your keyboard without needing to use your map for the power users. We also call this the command palette because you'll see there's more than just apps that are showing up here. Long time ago, there was the ability to navigate to different sections of the maintenance app, which people really loved. That was taken away for a number of different reasons, and that is now back. So you can search for shortcuts to sections within the maintenance app, finally. And the way we've done that is also opens that up to every other app in the system. So other apps can also expose shortcuts, which automatically become available to navigate to from anywhere in DHIS2, no matter which application you're running, because of the global app shell and this new app management app, app menu. And finally, we'll talk a little bit more about this in the session tomorrow, and maybe a bit on Friday as well, I'm not sure. Commands are coming as well. So this is another extension point, another way to extend not a specific app or not a specific place in a specific app, but your entire DHIS2 instance to be able to make commands available to every user in the system, no matter what app they're in. And I will wrap up there for Extend and pass it over to Kristen for Climate, what's new in DHIS2.
Again. So this is the new girl in town. Huh? So since she's so new, Max had to do an update. Oh, already finished with update. Okay. So this is, yeah. Okay. So this is just a teaser, because tomorrow we will have a plenary going into depth of the new innovations when it comes to climate and health. So what I would like to just give a bit of an update on is that now we have heard all about the DHIS2 platform. We have all this data available, all these analytic tools, data collection tools and everything. So what can we do if we also get the climate, environmental and weather data available? What can we then do? So we have made a digital tool to fetch those data. And when we have those two data sources, what can we then do if we combine it in using AI and machine learning to be able to predict, to be able to assess, train the models, share the models, and learn how can we then use that customized in the countries? How can we build that capacity in the countries? So what we have done, I just want to start with the end, in a way. There's no pointer here. You see the box here. You see the CHAP modeling platform. We have the data analytics. We have the health data. We have the climate app. Then we have, through the modeling app, we have visualization data input, data output, in order to be able to combine the data of the health and the climate. And then we have this one outside, the CHAP modeling platform, where we actually do, we have done through the last year, we have everything we have learned from making a platform for innovative platform as DHIS2, we do the same for modeling. We have made a customizable, open source, open, configurable, totally agnostic to models that can be used in countries to be able to assess what model will suit my health program best in my country, based on learning from other countries. And we will also is a collaborative platform so that other modelers in the world can stop only do pilotitis for having cool paper publications. They can actually do impact in the countries. So they have an arena to be able to share their models in a software platform that are then used for that purpose. So this is what we will tell more about tomorrow. But then what about these apps? We are leveraging the existing scaled DHIS2 system. We are aiming for global digital public goods. So all this is globally available. So all these 77 or hundreds of countries that have DHIS2 can utilize these tools in the app stores. We will then explore all this, what we can do with weather and climate and environmental data. And as we know, there's so many unknowns. So this is actually a research project. But while we do, how do we do research? We do action research, meaning we actually do real pilots in countries to learn and to share. That we'll talk a bit about. And then, of course, integrate this with AI and put that power into the countries. Next slide. So this climate app, probably you have heard about it, is pretty powerful. It has 4,000 installations in DHIS2 instances since April. So this is a way of on the fly, as you go, real time, can fetch climate data and harmonize it into the DHIS2 from each organizational unit you have in DHIS2 and provide an analytic tool for data triangulation wherever you are. Clinic, community, regionally, nationally. It's using the ERA5 data sources, but any global data set can be used in this machine. I call it, this is a new. So this is the harmonization machine. I just want to tell you that one because it's very important. Because climate data is not gridded. We need to grid it so it's useful in DHIS2. Climate data is useful for many things, World Health Program and everything. But for us to make it useful and harmonized into DHIS2, it needs to be harmonized and gridded into the polygon of the org unit in DHIS2. That is what this app is actually doing. So then we can use any global data set existing to be harmonized into the DHIS2. And that's pretty powerful on that global digital public good platform used by so many countries. So what's new in the climate app? I just wanted to tell you about the climate app before I say what's new in the climate app. So all these new data sets are now available. Heat stress, rainfall with SRIPS, which is turned out to be much better than ERA5 in many countries. We use the CHAP platform to assess which of these precipitation data sources are best for my country. Some countries is ERA5, other countries is SRIPS. Like in Uganda, for instance. Elevation, super important for Ethiopia and Nepal, and others, of course. Nepal, talking of which, our pilot of 10 countries having a design, and in Nepal, the design is for dengue outbreak, monitoring and prediction. We are then 4 districts, lowland, hillland, mountainland, and urban. The first dengue cases came in 2004. The first outbreak was in 2006. And now it's going up to the hill, to the mountain, and it's very climate sensitive. So that's why this is a very interesting use case for us, among the other interesting use cases. Okay, so then we have vegetation index, of course, and land cover is super important when it comes to mosquito breeding and so forth. New functionalities you can see here. You will hear more tomorrow. This is a teaser. And then we have the modeling app. Modeling app is actually the output and the visualization for the CHAP modeling platform. So this is what you see in the App Store. That's what you see in the DHIS2, in the analytics. This is the analytics. So here, I just want to show, here you can actually see that you can actually assess two different models side by side in a country. This is raw data. And every Thursday, we have all the 10 countries, we have a common meeting. We had a demo, we had a discussion. Oh, we would like to have these timelines sliding, not like going like this, but sliding. That was Thursday. Monday in the Climate Health Conference, that was fixed. So a new release in the modeling app was done on Monday with this functionality that you see here now. So that's new. That's how we work here, agile, responsive to countries. So this app is the one thing we want to show here is actually how do you train that model? You take 3 months back in time, so you know actually the results. That's how to assess the trained model. And then you train the model of all the data you have, the time period, the data sources, whatever. And then you see, oh, what is the prediction for the next 3 months? And you're standing then there 3 months back, so you know the real cases. And then you see this, the blue is the prediction, the bluest, and then the probability is 50%, the next bluish, and then the lightest is the 20% probability. And then you see how does it perform? Does it fit the purpose or does it not? So this is for assessment, because the first thing you need to do is to assess. So these 10 countries are the pilot countries that we start with. We were asked to do 3 to 5 and said, you know, that's not the HISP way of working. We do a healthy competition. Who move fastest? We don't know. We don't know who's actually able to run. And everyone is able to run, so you see here. So this is kind of the exploration that finished, installed in the country test instance, in production, not to scale. And of course, we need to save something to invest in when it comes to scaling. So we have the climate app and we have also the CHAP modeling tool. So what we do, we build capacity on modeling also in countries. We see that's super important to liaison with the local universities. We are training every Thursday. We have meetings with trainings, discussions on the modeling, and we had the workshop last week. It's actually last week, yeah. So this will be continued. Here you can see actually how you can select your model, and then you can fly with it and customize it to your own, and it will be, you can name it your own model, Rwanda model or Ethiopia model. Okay, so plenary tomorrow, parallel session with the climate app in the detail, 11, and then the parallel session on the CHAP modeling platform and a modeling app at 3. And then we have the expert lunch where we really invite you to come along with us and work on this one together. Thank you. This one, sorry.
How about now? Yes, great. It's good. It's good. It's good. It's working. Thank you. Okay, so I have the pleasure now of introducing the competition finalists for our app competition this year. As most of you know, we have an app competition every year, and we have many great submissions from across the community. It's really, really hard to choose the finalists to present to all of you. This year, these are some of the criteria that we use. We had more than 20 really impressive finalists, submissions that we had to choose from for the 3 finalists that you'll see in just a minute. Generally, we're looking for things that are open source, available to everyone, generically applicable, useful and impactful, important to you, take into consideration security and privacy as well when you're building applications that could be interacting with very sensitive data. And bonus points, so this is not a requirement, but bonus points if you make use of the tools that are available in DHIS2. So the API is something that pretty much everybody uses, but also the app platform, the Android SDK, Camel components, different tools that we have available for the platform of DHIS2. We'll see more, you'll see video presentation from each of the 3 finalists in just a moment. You can learn more about all of these apps also on the Community of Practice. We'll be posting the voting on the Community of Practice. I'll talk more about that in a minute. But also you can reach out. I believe each of the finalists will be posting their own posts, so you can ask questions or dive a little bit deeper into each of the applications that are shared. And you can also come to the If You Dream It, You Can Do It session tomorrow to learn a little bit more about all these finalists, as well as some other innovators that are building on top of DHIS2 as a platform. So without further ado, let's meet our 3 finalists. They are the ArcGIS Connector app by Esri, the AI Insights app by IFRC, and Flexi Portal by HISP Tanzania. And we'll jump right into 3 videos to see the 3 of them, and then I'll tell you more about the voting process. So I have to figure out how to do this. Here we go. So there you had the ArcGIS Connector app from Esri. You can learn more about that again tomorrow at the session. And now we will have the AI Insights app.
or select from the pre-configured suggested chart. This is tailored for single organizations or multi-organizations. In this case, I'll select which organization units have performed best and worst. Set. Here, this is going to be streaming information from before. And once this is done, you have the option to download the report in HTML and save this report as a PDF or print. Now let's go back to AI Insights again. So the way this works is that AI requests a question, pulls data from DHIS2, and responds to the plain language summary. And here you can also gather your visualization, view your visualization. And here you're able to turn things tied up, and you can copy and paste this into your report. And you also have the option to use the table, view the data in the table form. AI Insights is flexible, supports local and GPT model, and also local along with flights. To set it up, click on settings. And here I'm currently using OpenAI's GPT-4, but I can also select to be able to use the local large language model. And this will run completely offline. And this is really ideal for low networking environments or privacy-sensitive environments. So now I'm going to take along, and I have my along server URL. Click right there, and click along server again. And here I have different models that I loaded into my computer. And I will select save settings and go back to AI Insights. You'll now see that I have along 3 the latest version. This app supports aggregated data, events data, market program, indicators, and program indicators. It enables users to detect trends, analyze anomalies, and generate comparative insights all through their language interface. So whether you imagine programs, support field teams, or prepare reports, AI Insights with DHIS2 turns complex data to fast and actionable research. Thank you.
In order to send DHIS to the public, there are many public portals. To develop these portals, money, time, and the need for large teams of implementers and developers is being required. That's why Tanzania has built the DHIS2 Flexi portal, a ready-to-use, fully customizable public portal that makes sharing DHIS2 data as simple as clicking buttons. Flexi portal includes 2 key parts: a sleek web portal for public access and DHIS2 manager application that lets you control and configure everything, all without writing a single line of code. With Flexi portal, you can get a public portal, reset, deploy, configure, and publish, all being done in just a matter of minutes. Pages such as adding or removing modules, changing layouts, and updating the feed can be done effortlessly with just a click. Isn't that impressive? Flexible ways you can set up towards all DHIS2 visualizations like charts, maps, and tables, like clear documents, and swift and static content like announcements or info pages, all being search engine optimized and mobile friendly right out the box. With Flexi portal, you are able to rebuild your Tanzania portal in styles, something that used to take months. That's the power of DHIS2 Flexi portal, making data accessible easily. Flexi portal turns months of work into a day, securely unlocking the power of DHIS2 to the public, where data doesn't just sit in dashboards, it drives real-world change. To get a live demo to this amazing application, you can scan these QR codes to a sample web portal and DHIS2 instance hosting the portal manager. For more information and questions, reach out to us through info@hisptanzania.org.
So I hope you enjoyed that quick teaser of these 3 applications. They are all available. Also, those same videos are available on the Community of Practice, which has been posted just moments ago. You can follow the link in this QR code here or search on the Community of Practice. The voting will be open for the rest of the week. It will close at noon on Friday, and we will announce the winners in the closing session with the other awards. So happy voting. Please reach out and also join our sessions tomorrow to learn more about these applications and others that are built on top of the platform. Thank you very much.
All right.